Last time, we talked about stress. In the previous video, we discovered that stress is our mind and body's response to anything that demands our attention. In this video, we will learn that stress is accompanied by predictable biochemical, physiological, cognitive, and behavioral changes that are aimed either at changing the stressful event or accommodating its effects. How do we manage stress now? Before we start with the discussion, if there are topics that make you feel uncomfortable, you may take your time outside of the space. And if you need help that is urgent, you may reach out to the National Center for Mental Health crisis hotline as shown in your screens. Now, for this lesson, we will be discussing about the models of stress, effects of stress, and coping with stress. Dear you, every storm is different. They track a different path, and they might not bring the same kind of devastation. The only constant promise that you can look forward to is that every year storms will arrive. Over the years, you have also developed different reactions to the storms of your own life. How you weather the storm and how you survive them are what you will encounter in this letter. I invite you to ask, what kind of storms have previously entered your life? What kind of storm are you currently in the middle of and trying to survive? You must take an account of what happens to your body and to yourself as you go through these experiences. The possibility of contracting COVID-19 still exists. The pandemic forced us into circumstances that the majority of us had never before faced. We are forced into this circumstance, which is not something we wanted to happen in the first place. But here we are in this situation. Despite things slightly improving, we are still in the midst of the pandemic. What matters most is how we handle it. Stress, as we previously stated, is our body and mind's response to any stimuli. A stimulus can be anything, or it can be a person, or it can be an event. As a result, this stimulus throws off our equilibrium and puts us in a position of great difficulty, pressure, or strain. Don't forget that different stimuli cause varied reactions in different people. What can be stressful for you might not be stressful for your friends, co-workers, or classmates. The General Adaptation Syndrome is a theory that Hans Selye developed. According to this hypothesis, our bodies go through three phases when under stress. When we are exposed to stimuli, alarm, resistance, and exhaustion happens. When a threat is recognized, alarm occurs. You wish to fight the threat after realizing or flight from it. As opposed to fleeing from the stressor, fighting indicates you face it head on. After the initial shock of stress, your body attempts to restore itself during the resistance stage of General Adaptation Syndrome. Your body begins to respond to stress by producing physical responses like a faster heartbeat and perspiration. Your heart and blood pressure will start to return to pre-stress values at this point if the stressful circumstance is no longer present and you are able to deal with the stress. Finally, when your body's vitality is gone and you are no longer able to combat stress, you experience exhaustion. So, A good illustration of this process occurs every day. Imagine that you have social anxiety. When you have to go to a party but are aware of your social anxiety, this is the cause for alarm. Either you fight or you flee. When you try to go to the party, the fight response happens. When you attempt to flee an event so that you won't have to attend it, the flight response occurs. When other people try to involve you in the activities while you are already at the party, resistance occurs as your heart rate increases and sweat profusely due to the situation. Finally, fatigue develops when social anxiety occurs frequently and you need to constantly replenish your social batteries. Chronic fatigue can result in ailments and diseases including coronary heart disease. In essence, therefore, that's how we can apply this theory in our daily lives.
Your body might react a little differently to stress than the way others react. So it is important to acknowledge how your stress manifests. Do you tend to experience more fatigue when you are stressed? Taking care to understand how you recover from exhaustion may also help you recover from stress more quickly and completely. The effects on stress on your body can bring on different kinds of ailments. So taking care of your daily mental health and taking care of yourself when you experience stress is incredibly important. Once you understand how stress affects you, you are closer to being able to avoid more serious physical effects of prolonged stress.
Stress causes our bodies to react in a variety of ways. While some people see physical changes like weight loss, others experience health issues like high blood pressure. Other physical impacts of stress on our bodies include increased breathing rate and depth, blood concentration, elevated heart and blood pressure, very sharpened senses, stomach butterflies, goosebumps, cold perspiration, parched mouth, and an adrenaline rush. In addition, chronic stress can lead to pain of any type: heart disease, digestive issues, sleep issues, depression, weight difficulties, autoimmune illnesses, and skin conditions like eczema. Others get irritable and angry when people are under too much stress. Some people experience agitation, an inability to unwind, overwhelming feelings, feelings of loneliness and isolation, sadness, or general dissatisfaction. While others might also experience changes in their conduct and interpersonal interactions, people who are under too much stress may eat more or less, sleep more or less, distance themselves from others, put off or ignore tasks, use alcohol, cigarettes, or narcotics to relax, or develop anxious habits like pacing and biting their nails. Relationships are impacted negatively by stress. People frequently keep their stress to themselves, which makes it challenging for their friends to empathize with them and offer assistance. Furthermore, other people lose their concentration because of stress. Others struggle to focus, exhibit poor judgment, see only the negative, have racing or anxious thoughts, and worry constantly. Others have trouble remembering things, feeling confused, have trouble thinking clearly and concentrating, and have difficulty making decisions. You may find that your behavior also changes during stress, and this is something that affects more than you as an individual. Who is in the path of your own internal storm when you are affected by high levels of stress? Do you tend to lash out? Can you describe the storm of words and emotions that you experience when you are under stress? Imagine being alone in a storm. you are afraid of several things. Chief among them, your immediate physical safety. If you are alone in a storm and somewhere unfamiliar, you will be most concerned and most stressed out by the challenge of finding somewhere dry and safe, where you can take shelter from the raging storm outside. But not all problems may have a clear and tangible solution, and that's okay. You'll find that sometimes it is the fear that causes the most stress and the most worry. How can we handle these stressors? Some people adopt problem-focused coping, where they concentrate on the issue at hand. The stress is reduced when there is a solution to the issue. Others, on the other hand, concentrate on their emotions. Prior to tackling the problem, they must learn to cope by reducing the emotional impact, which makes sense. After all, we need to control our rage before finding a solution. This is called emotion-focused coping. James Ross, an American psychologist, is one of the most well-known researchers on the subject of emotional control. Emotion regulation, according to Gross, is all of the conscious and unconscious mechanisms we employ to amplify, sustain, or attenuate one or more components of an emotional reaction. Emotion regulation postulates that we may control our emotions by using specific coping strategies. According to Gross, emotion regulation focuses on the experiential, behavioral, and physiological components of the emotional response. Our individual experience of feeling emotions is a part of the experiential component. The behavioral component consists of our reactions, such as a smile, frown, or sigh. The physiological component describes how our body reacts, such as increased breathing and heart rate. Therefore, it is necessary to understand our experiences, behaviors, and physical bodies when we are experiencing certain emotions in order to control them. We can utilize emotional regulation as a beneficial strategy to manage stress. In fact, the World Health Organization published a module to assist people in coping with stress during the pandemic. It's a useful booklet that covers stress management techniques we can try out on our own. The initial step is to ground. Everyone occasionally feels stress. As high stress frequently has an impact on our bodies, we should always keep an eye on ourselves. We must identify our stressors. Consider writing down the causes of your stress. Focus, engage, and pay attention better. Whenever you notice you get hooked, unhook by refocusing and engaging in what you are doing. Engaging with the world around you, focusing on what you are doing. Notice how you are feeling and what you are thinking. Slow down and connect with your body. Slow your breathing. Empty your lungs completely. Then let them refill as slowly as possible. Slowly press your feet into the floor. Slowly stretch your arms or slowly press your hands together. Refocus on the world around you. Notice where you are. Notice what it feels like under your fingers. We must then be unhooked from the challenging ideas and feelings following grounding. Sometimes we become so engrossed in these painful feelings that we turn away from ourselves. We must acknowledge and label the emotion. Say to yourself, I realize that I am feeling sad, and keep saying it. When we start saying that instead of just saying, I'm unhappy, we frequently let go of the emotion. We must remember our own values and live by them after unhooking our thoughts and feelings. We must uphold our values even in the most trying circumstances. One leads a more satisfying and fulfilling life when they are aware of their values and life's purpose. Consider always asking yourself, Is what I'm doing part of my values when you're under stress? What kind of person you aspire to be is expressed by your values, how you wish to treat people, yourself, and the environment. Do my actions reflect my principles? Do your actions lead you closer to or further from your values? The next action we should always take is to show kindness. Even if it may be natural for us to have unkind thoughts, we should be nice not only for the sake of others, but also for our own sake. We must be kind to ourselves and refrain from dwelling on our bad feelings. Yes, these are all necessary and valid, but always remember to treat yourself well. Make a list of good deeds you can do and try to complete at least one of them. Unkind thoughts are common and can occur naturally. That's okay. However, it is not advisable to become hooked to them because doing so causes us to drift away from our beliefs. Everyone will gain if you are kind to yourself since you will have more energy to assist others and greater drive to do so. Finally, we must provide space for growth. It is important to recognize and examine challenging thoughts and sensations. Then, try practicing meditation. Consider having meditation exercises. It's alright. It's acceptable to take in the stress and then release it. Inhale and then exhale. Allow your breath to flow into and around the challenging thoughts and feelings by taking a deep breath. If you experience physical pain, pay attention to it with interest. Observe its form, size, and warmth, and be curious to what transpires. Your discomfort could increase or decrease. Your only goal is to provide space for it so that it can exist. It may remain or it may leave. Therefore, stop battling it and allow it room. What you feel and how your body reacts are connected, and your body, your thoughts, and how you feel are all clues to how your current challenges, your lived experience, and your external situation are affecting you and your mental health. With a little practice, you will become more skilled in practicing kindness, in making room, and in grounding. You may even develop more grounding techniques to help you cope, both physically and mentally. What's important to remember right now is that taking care of your well-being must include acknowledging and coping with difficult, strong emotions, which may arrive as a reaction to stress. In the beginning, you will find it difficult to act kindly, even towards yourself. When you are feeling unkind towards your own emotions and experiences, don't let this deter you from trying again and again to practice kindness. You have learned so much about yourself, and I urge you to keep going. In every experience and despite difficult emotions, storms pass and bright, calm days arrive. Nagmamahal, ikaw. I suppose that's it. Our bodies and minds respond to stress in a natural way. We will experience tension from time to time. It's okay. How we take care of ourselves is what's important. So let this serve as a reminder to everyone that we must look after ourselves. Waiting for the next video.